So just a few months ago, builders could not build homes fast enough to appease the masses of buyers that wanted to buy them. They bragged about their lengthy wait lists, made buyers bid their highest and best on lots before they were ever released, and even had lotteries to select those lucky winners that actually got to buy their new constructed homes. Well, those days are over. Many buyers have canceled their contracts and either remove themselves from the wait list or just pass when they get that almighty call from the builder. Higher mortgage rates have made owning a new construction home out of the realm of possibility for some, and sales have slowed dramatically. In fact, new home sales fell to its lowest level since July of 2016. Now, way back in May, I did a video about what I saw happening in new construction and that incentives were coming back soon. I knew it was coming, and 2 weeks later, incentives were back. Every buyer was throwing out incentives like spaghetti on the wall to see which one would attract the most buyers and make them stick. Well, those initial incentives didn't do much because interest rates started to rise, and quickly. So they did the interest rate buy down. And this seemed to attract more buyers, but more recently, what we're seeing nationally is that builders are starting to cut their prices. And a majority of these builders are also slowing down their construction pace. Ali Wolf, chief economist of Zonda, said, "We should anticipate fewer homes being built over the next 12 months. The new home market is struggling right now. Demand has cooled more than you would imagine this time of year." Now, in my Phoenix market, August is not known as a really hot buying or selling month, but we are seeing declines in new home construction sales year over year. Resale, however, believe it or not, August has seen more homes sell than we did in July. That was a surprising statistic. Many buyers were already reeling from the record high home prices, and now you add in high interest rates, and suddenly many were unable to afford the payment on these new construction homes. This is when cancellation started. Those that were under contract that had been waiting for their home to be completed after 12, 18 months or longer could no longer afford the payment. This is really what made builders shift gears into that interest rate buy down option. Now, the new construction in our market, they were really only doing this interest rate buy down on what they considered their quick delivery homes, because those are the homes they need to get off their books for their shareholders. These also just happen to be some of the homes that these people had canceled on. This is also when the number of sales for new home construction began to slow nationally. Specifically, 511,000 new homes were sold in July, which was down 29.6% from the 726,000 new homes sold the July a year before. Some would-be buyers have decided to just sit tight right now to see if they can get a better deal down the line. Now, I know some that are still waiting for their home to be complete have gone back to the builder to see if they can renegotiate some part of their deal just to keep everything together. It has not always worked out, but it is worth a try, because I do know a few that have been able to work something out with the builder. Now, have you done that? Or do you know anybody else that has? Let me know in the comments down below. Devin Bachman, Senior Vice President of Research at John Burns Real Estate Consulting, said this: "There's a large group of buyers who could buy but are choosing not to because they're worried about the recession, inflation, and the national economy. People are afraid they're going to buy a home, and a year from now, it will be worth less than it is today." Which I just have to stop right here for a second and say this. Please don't buy a house if you are only planning on owning it for a year or two. I don't care what kind of market we're in. Real estate is not a short-term investment. So this decline in sales has given builders pause. They don't want to put up the money to construct more homes if they are not confident that they can sell them. The National Association of Home Builders Assistant Vice President for Forecasting and Analysis said, "The sharp drop in new home sales is another clear indicator that housing is in a recession. The combination of higher prices and an increased interest rates are generating a notable slowing of the housing market." What's worrisome is that back in May, home builders noticeably pulled back on the number of permits that they were applying for constructing new homes. This means that in May, the home builders were seeing less contracts than they had been in the past. And remember, in our Phoenix market, May was our peak. So why is this worrisome? Well, based on our population, we still don't have an adequate supply of homes. We just don't feel this in our current market conditions. Danielle Hale, chief economist for Realtor.com, said this: "Building had a big drop-off. Unfortunately, with this pullback in building, the shortage is unlikely to be solved anytime soon." According to Zonda, roughly 87% of builders are now planning to slow down their pace of construction. Wolf said, builders are saying we're going to wait to see how the market progresses. The largest home builder in the nation, D.R. Horton, reported that 24% of all of its contracts for new builds were canceled between April and June, according to its shareholders' reports. Pulte Group, the third largest builder, reported that their cancellations were up 15% in the second quarter of the year, compared with 7% the year earlier. We are seeing increased cancellations, which is an early sign of distress in the new home market, said Bachman. In a dramatic shift from earlier this year, home builders are now doing anything that they can do to attract new home buyers. Things like the rate buy down, closing cost assistance, and money at the design center towards their upgrades. About 20% of new home builders are doing price cuts, which most feel is the last resort. Now, I'm not currently seeing this in our Phoenix new construction market, but it is happening in some cities. Now, the last time I saw significant price cuts from the builders was right after the 2008 housing crash. And this is when builders actually went all the way through their standard features and actually adjusted them, changed them. They reevaluated their cabinet package. They maybe lowered the grade, changed the cabinet company. They would change maybe their granite selection or reduce the number of granite or quartz selections that you had. Whatever they can do to help reduce their cost overall and still make a profit, that's what they were doing. Here in the Phoenix market, we have seen a reduction in the overall sales of new homes. And as I have gone around with my clients to some of these new construction communities, we've seen a lot of what we just talked about with the rate buy downs and the incentives. Now, there have been still a few communities that are doing highest and best on their lot releases, although not many. And some have pushed out parcels that were going to be released this month out into November. Now, the one thing that I haven't seen that I know a lot nationally they're talking about, I have not seen any price cuts for any of the builders here in the Phoenix area. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not there. They're just not the builders I've gone to. And what each builder is offering is really going to depend on where the community is and its price point. Now, if you liked this video, you really need to check this one out. If I can answer any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me. As always, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.